All right, guys, what is going on? I hope everybody's out there staying high speed and motivated, accomplishing your goals, whatever they may be. Today's video is going to be somewhat of a sensitive topic. All right, this is going to be something that I know if you are in the military, you have some exposure to in one facet or the other. I can tell you from personal experience that I've had plenty of exposure to this topic specifically throughout my coming up on 17-year career at this point. This is something that I think has been an issue across all branches of the military, conventional and special operations forces. And it's also something from my own view and from my own personal research that I have noticed to be increasingly systemically problematic across the whole force. And it's a problem that affects force readiness as a whole, and more importantly, that individual service members' health. And if you haven't figured it out already, the problem that we're going to be talking about today is the use of steroids in the military. Now, I'll say the reason why I'm all of a sudden spurred to bring this up and make a video about this topic is that I was skimming through the Military Times and I happened to see an article that stated that the Navy is going to start implementing force testing for Navy SEALs, and they're going to be looking for use of steroids. And from what I've read, they will initially start testing at 15% of the population on any given test day, but eventually they will ensure that 100% of the Navy SEAL population is tested for the use of steroids. Not only are they testing for steroids, but they're looking for other performance-enhancing drugs, such as SARMs. I'm not too sure about HGH. It probably depends on like the variant you're using. I did a little bit of additional research on that topic after reading that article, and it looks like once the Navy is complete, and probably based on their findings, the other branches are going to start implementing them as well into their own special operations forces. So for the Army, it's going to be your special forces. For the Marines, it's going to be your MARSOC guys. You get the gist. But the idea is that here pretty soon, the entire community of special operations forces from across the military is going to be tested for performance-enhancing drugs. Now, I hate to say it like this, but I, for one, if I was betting money on the outcome of these testings, I would bet a pretty hefty amount into the probability that the DoD is going to find that there is, in fact, a very big issue here with military forces using steroids, and probably mostly within the special operations community. That's because the majority of service members that are within special operations are always looking to give themselves the edge when it comes to their jobs. They're always looking to be able to go that extra mile, get that extra rep, just go as hard as they possibly can to make themselves as the best version of themselves, because that's what's demanded of them. That's what they're supposed to be. That's what they're getting paid for. So hopefully with that information already, if you are watching this and you are somebody who has fallen into the unfortunate trap using steroids or any sort of PEDs that you know you shouldn't be using, that serves as a pretty blatant warning to you. If you're in SOF or if you're a service member, period, you need to stop using that stuff now. And with that being said, I'm sure there's a lot of you right now that are scratching your head saying, whoa, I didn't realize steroids was such a big deal in the military. I didn't even know service members were allowed to do that. I thought they were getting tested for this stuff already. Well, here's the deal on that. Most drug tests in the military, as far as I know, and as far as I've always been told, do not automatically test for that kind of stuff. You know, they're looking for marijuana, cocaine, opiums, stuff like that, but they don't automatically test for performance-enhancing drugs. They do have tests for that, but from what I understand, they're a lot more expensive, and they're usually tested at some sort of individual basis, as in if the command suspects that you are using PEDs, then they will arrange for a test specifically for you to test you if you're actually doing that or not. But again, from my own understanding, for these urinalysis testings that we all do all the time, they're not automatically testing for steroids in those. I could be wrong, but that's just what I've been told and from my own understanding. I could be wrong on that, guys. Don't go out thinking, okay, well, Gritty Soldier said they don't test for steroids, so I'm in the clear. I'm going to go start doing steroids now. I'm good. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm advocating. I don't actually know if those are facts or not. That's just what I think. And with that being said, I want to be crystal clear with where I stand on this. For all you guys and gals out there that have been following me, trying to get any sort of advice or tips and tricks that you can to improve your fitness or to get ready for schools or just be the best soldier you possibly can be, I 110%, I can't stress this enough, do not condone the use of steroids. First of all, it's illegal, okay? The Military does not want you to use it. You are not supposed to be using it. They have tests for it, and now they're starting to come down hard on it. If the military says, and it doesn't matter what branch you're in, if the military says you can't use steroids, then you really have no business even thinking any further into it. It's not legal for you. You can't use steroids. Not only is it illegal, but the negative health effects that you're causing to yourself, especially in the long term, by injecting that crap into yourself just for the short-term satisfaction of the gains that you may or may not get with using them, it's just not worth it. And I know that with this video, there's going to be comments of people saying, well, if you do it just right, if you cycle it correctly, it can actually have health benefits. Look, there's nothing good about injecting something unnatural into you so that you can become something that would not be naturally attainable through hard work and perseverance. You do not need steroids to get faster, stronger, and healthier. And if you do use steroids, it might make you look stronger. You might actually get stronger, but you're not going to be healthier. And not only is it super bad for your health, but it sets up these non-realistic expectations. I mean, think about it. If you start using steroids, you are going to see gains. You're going to see gains in your physique, and you're going to see gains in your strength. But they're all unnatural, all right? And the moment you stop using that stuff, you're going to see a significant decrease, because the body can only do so much naturally. It really can only be so much. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how the body is supposed to be. And you can maximize your own performance potential of your body by doing natural things. And of course, you can supplement with certain nutrients and minerals that you can find from natural sources just to give yourself a little bit of an edge. There's nothing wrong with that, or you can go farm the things that you need instead of buying the pill versions of them. I mean, however you do it, that's your own prerogative. But when you start injecting something that turns you into Superman over the course of weeks or maybe a month or two, there's obviously something wrong with that. And when you're looking to improve your health and improve your physique, improve your strength, your speed, all that stuff, you want to earn that. You don't want cheat codes, all right? This is not something, you're not going to be as proud of it if you're cheating. And not only that, you want that to be naturally obtained, okay? Because you want to be proud of yourself, and you don't want to have the negative side effects that would come from the day of not using those steroids anymore. And this is going to affect you physically and mentally. All of a sudden, the systems that usually naturally regulate themselves accordingly are going to start shutting down. They're not going to know what to do. The chemicals that are up in your head that regulate your mood, your motivation levels, your drive, all that's going to be out of whack, and it's going to be even more affected when you look at yourself in the mirror, you start deflating, you lose those gains, and you start to look chunky because you're off the gear. So now you have physical problems and you have mental problems. And it all could have been avoided if you just would have stayed natural. And one thing that I really can't stand, that I've really been seeing a huge increase in lately, is fitness influencers out there, obviously on steroids, but they're setting up these unrealistic expectations for their viewers. They're in the background, they're pumping on the gear, and they're putting in work, don't get me wrong, but they're getting these results that are just unrealistic for natural people or just for more normal people out there. And the worst are the ones that either claim to be natural or they just don't admit that they're taking steroids. I hate that. For me, as a fitness influencer myself, that to me is like a cardinal sin. You really can't, you're just cheating your audience at that point. These people out there that are doing steroids and showing off and saying, hey, you can do this too. You just have to do a bicep curl like this and you'll have these massive tree trunks for arms. They're setting up such unrealistic expectations out there that it's causing more systemic issues in the population. Because what's going to happen? Those viewers that are watching those fitness influencers just seem to have it all figured out, right? Because they have the results. They're going to go out there and they're going to do those things, but they're not going to see the same results, and they're going to start thinking it's something wrong with them. And so they're either going to get deterred, or they're going to overtrain, or they're just going to develop some sort of mental problem thinking that they're just not good enough, or no matter what they do, they can't achieve those same results, so they quit. I mean, there's so many lasting effects, negative effects, that can come from you being a fitness influencer and lying about your steroid use. And with saying that, if you are watching this right now and you watch other fitness influencers who you suspect are on gear, or you know that they use steroids, just stop watching them. They're not giving you realistic information. They might have good workout plans for you and stuff, but you're just never going to achieve the results that they achieve unless you're using steroids. And you should not be using steroids. Those fitness influencers do not actually have what's best for you in mind. Because in my mind, if they're already somebody who's using steroids, then they're willing to cheat to get what they want, and they shouldn't be trusted. All right, guys, so there's my rant on that. Obviously, you can tell that I have passion for this issue. I'm very much against the use of steroids. I mean, look, I'm even like sweating a little bit talking about it. I really hope you guys are listening to me when I tell you about these things and you're really paying attention. And I hope you guys do your own research and actually go check out a little bit after this and read up on the negative effects that steroids will give to you. And if you're in the military, I hope that this enlightens you a little bit on the issue. And if you're somebody who's been using steroids, I would advise you to stop immediately. Because I'm telling you, as soon as they're done testing on these SEALs, they're going to see how much of a problem it is, and the DoD is going to come down hard on the rest of the force. Because with all the negative effects that come with steroids, it really does create huge problems for overall force readiness. And we should all know if the DoD cares about anything, it's readiness. So don't do that shit, and if you have any buddies that are doing it, tell them not to as well. All right, guys, that's all I got for you on this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. We talk about all sorts of things on this channel: military fitness, military information, things, how to be successful at military schools like Ranger School or Air Assault School, all sorts of things. So I'm sure you'll find something useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's a few other videos on the channel that I advise you to go check out after this. Besides that, I'll remind you one more time, do not do steroids. I've got nothing else for you, and I'll see you on the next one.